Thanks for your time tonight.
It's very good to be with you, Brian, and good evening.
Now, you're managing director with a major news organisation.
Yes, very minor point, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm not a managing editor. I'm a sectional editor of one of the sections of the paper.
OK, but you are with a major news organisation.
By all means, with a major news organisation.
Now, this story about instability in the government, it won't go away, will it?
Well, not if we've got anything to do with it, it won't. No, it's going very well, this one.
Is it a real story?
Oh, yes, it's a real story. We're only covering it because of its reality. It's a very, very big, very real story. It's a front-page story.
Sure, I know.
I mean, right across the country.
But
it's not
why
just us. You're covering this story
as well. Yeah, but why is it a story?
Quite a big way.
Why is it a story?
Well, it is a very big story, Brian. What could be a bigger story than instability in the government?
Well, what the government's doing, how it's running the country.
Well, I can tell you what the government's doing, Brian. The government is dealing with this crisis. This is a real crisis for the government. And
Global warming, economics.
Global warming.
I mean, you could be talking about health,
Excuse me,
education.
can I stop you there? Global warming. We had a story in our paper today about global warming.
Well, I didn't see it in today's paper.
Did you look under boat trailers for sale?
Why was it up the back of the paper?
We can't put it up the front, Brian. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. This is a very big story. I mean, the Prime Minister may be lucky to survive this current crisis. The Prime Minister may be lucky.
What is the story?
Well, that is the story. That is why
but what's the background? What is the issue here?
Brian, everybody, look, there are two groups within the government, two factions, and they are tearing each other apart. They've been at each other like dogs for over a year.
Well, what do they think?
Well, one group thinks we should break our eggs from the big end, and one group thinks we should break our eggs from the little end.
Break our eggs at one end or the other?
Big enders and little enders, Brian. If you look at an egg, you'll find that it's got a round end and it's got an end that's not exactly pointed, but it's less round than the other end.
Thank you, but I am familiar with the shape of an egg.
Well, that's the difference between those two factions.
But does it matter which end we break?
The issue is not whether or not it matters, Brian.
What, the issue is what sort of omelette we end up with?
No, Brian, you're being trivial. The issue is trust.
Trust.
The issue is whether or not the Prime Minister is a big ender who used to be a little ender or a little ender who used to be a big ender.
But why is that an issue?
It's an issue, Brian, because it cannot be ruled out. Nobody has said otherwise. Where is the evidence otherwise?
OK, I'll ask you a question. What's the weather going to be tomorrow?
Scattered avalanches, possibility of perhaps some locusts in the afternoon.
Really?
Can't be ruled out, Brian. Hasn't been denied.
You'd write anything, wouldn't you?
If anything happens, we'll cover it, yeah.